So here we are with Neil Shanks from Expat Pro Law in Hua Hin. Expat Pro Law is a law office, and we are here to ask some questions to Neil, who is the expert. And because there's quite some confusion about leasing, freehold companies, and today we want actually to ask you a few questions about leasehold.
Okay.
So, first question is: can foreigners own property in Thailand?
The answer, quite straightforward there, is yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay.
A foreigner in general, apart from certain exceptions under BOI, etc., cannot own freehold land in Thailand.
Land?
Just the land itself. But the construction, the actual house, physical house building, is perfectly acceptable for the foreigner to own that.
Okay. So, but we found a way to avoid this non-ownership of the land by getting a lease on the land, right?
Yes, it's as in the rest of Asia, leasehold ownership of land is very popular, and in Thailand, exactly the same. You can have a lease up to 30 years, subject to another lease called an usufruct, which is a lifetime lease. But in general, it's a 30-year lease period is the maximum permitted amount in Thailand.
Okay, so this 30 years,
yes.
You can make a contract with the owner of the land.
Sure.
You go to the land office and you make a registration of that lease.
Yes.
For this 30 years.
That's exactly right.
Okay, but also, is it possible, for instance, that you make a contract with the owner, that we say that we can extend that lease for another 30 and another 30 years?
Yes. It wouldn't actually be an extension of the existing lease. It would be a replacement lease for 30 years, and then in general there's normally provision to have another 30 years after as well.
Okay.
But, that contract is separate from the lease that's actually registered at the land office.
Right.
You don't register the contract. So the contract is the legal document that's enforceable between the buyer and the seller.
Yes.
And then every 30 years, a new lease is registered for 30-year term.
Right. So make it very clear, you only can register 30 years at the land office.
That's right.
But you can make a contract with the landowner that we agree that he will allow us to do another period of 30 and another period of 30 years.
Yes, and in general, we would also build into that they can assign the lease to a subsequent purchaser of the property. So, for instance, after 15 years, if someone's plans change and they want to sell, we'd have the option for the new purchaser to take over the remaining period of the 15 years of the initial lease, or to start a brand new lease, the second lease of the 30 years, and the clock is ticking.
Right. And how safe is this lease? Well, for instance, if the landowner pass away, so the family will be the new owner from the land, but I have a contract with the former owner.
It's actually quite straightforward in that you need a proper legal contract. If people cut corners and they haven't got a proper legal contract, in that instance they run a risk. But for instance, in our contract, we will build in with the initial landowner that the rights and obligations of the sale and purchase contract pass down to the beneficiary. So the future owner of that land, in their will, or if they die intestate, the subsequent owner, normally in the family, they have the same enforceable obligation to grant
that lease. And it is the same as a company is giving the lease.
The same with the company, but of course not so much a problem with the company. because a company can never die unless you liquidate it.
Yeah. And then there will be a new owner of the land, and that owner will have to acknowledge these rights.
Yeah, that's exactly that. So it's all about making sure that you've got a robust watertight contract in the first place.
Okay, I think that's very clear. This was for today the legal question. I hope we can come back to Neil with some other questions, because we
of course
next time
the chargeable time will be ticking this time.
Because we also want to know something about the company structure. We also want to know something about in our next video about if you have a will, how it is with the Thai will. What we like to know is how it is with property taxes and that, but we will do that in other videos. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Anytime.
Thank you so much, Neil, for this
Thank you.
great and very clear explanation.
My pleasure.
That's good.